everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a huge summer book haul. So I made myself a deal with myself for me not to buy any more books this summer because I have too many. My TBR pile I think is over 100 books right now, which is absolutely ludicrous. I need to start cutting it down. So this is going to be my last book haul for a while. Don't quote me on that, but I'm gonna try. And I just wanted to show you some books that I've picked up so far this summer. I hope you enjoy. So the first book that I've got here to show you in this haul is actually one that was bought for me by my lovely boyfriend Tyler. Thank you. He bought this for me while we were in Stratford at this nice little bookstore that's like my favorite. It's called Fanfare Books and it's adorable. But he bought me this because we watched the TV show recently and I've been dying to read the book, and that is Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. If you don't already know, this is a older story, but it tells the story of a demon and an angel who are trying to stop Armageddon from happening. We watched the TV show for this and absolutely adored it. Or I mean, I adored it. I don't know if Tyler adored it. I think he liked it. But it was such an incredible show that was just so humorous and so out there, and I'm dying to read the book. So I'm hopefully going to be reading it this month. So if I do, stay tuned to hear what my thoughts in my reading vlogs and my wrap-up, but I'm very excited about this. I've heard it's fantastic. I love the show so much, so I don't doubt that I'm going to absolutely love the book as well. Next up, I picked up 3 books while we were also in Stratford at the Festival Theatre, because it is a Shakespeare theatre as well. It's named after Stratford-upon-Avon, the town, and they have an entire huge Shakespeare showcase and a Shakespeare festival every summer. But they're constantly showing new shows, and they have the editions of Shakespeare that are like my favorite editions, so I always pick up a few while I'm there. I ended up getting one for the book or the show that we actually saw while we were there, which was Othello by William Shakespeare. These are the modern library editions, and they make a rainbow when you put them all together, and I love them. Anyway, I got Othello, I got Twelfth Night, and I got Romeo and Juliet. So these are going to join my other editions of some of my other favorite plays up on my shelf, and I'm excited. Next up, I've got a few books that I just purchased recently, actually just this past weekend. I went a little bit crazy, but whatever. They're all books that I've been wanting to get for a long time, so I don't feel too guilty about it. The first book that I picked up was Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. I've heard so many people rave about this, mainly Emma Books. It tells the story of Anne, who after her mother disappears is forced to go into New Reigns, which is the city of sin, and it is a city in which people are corrupted and nobody leaves unchanged. But her mother disappears and she's forced to go into the city to discover what happened to her and to find her, and her only resource, her only partner in learning where her mother is Levi, who is the leader of a like crime group, I guess. He's a con artist and he's a criminal, and offers to compensate him for his help, so he is partnered up with her in order to try and find his mother, but his demons do come back to haunt them as they go through their journey. I've heard nothing but good things about this, and I'm really excited to read it. Now that I have it, I'm even more excited to read it. It didn't hit me until I actually got it in my hands, but I am very excited about this. The next book that I picked up is Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schulte. I think that's how you say her name. Heather, you'll be excited to see this. I hear you rave about this book all the time. This book was on my most anticipated books of 2019 list, and I'm very excited to finally have it. It came out a few months ago, but I never picked it up until now just because I kind of forgot about it. But this tells the story of Carolee, I think? Yeah. And Varen. Carolee is one of the most skilled thieves in this world. Varen is an upstanding citizen from the most erudite region of this world. And Carolee is sent to steal a package from him, which ends up putting his life in danger and ends up wrapping them all into a huge conspiracy that leaves all 4 of their queens dead. The 2 of them end up pairing up to discover what happened and to clear their names, as they're both brought into this huge conspiracy. And I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've heard it's a really interesting fantasy set in a very vibrant world. I've heard the characters are quite interesting, but I'm really excited to read this. I've heard it's got a lot of shocks and a lot of twists and turns, and I don't know, I've kind of forgotten about it. It wasn't on my radar for a while, but it's back on and I'm excited to read it. This next book that I picked up was kind of an impulse buy. I've seen it floating around on the interwebs, and I've been really interested in it as soon as I saw it. I also just came off of the high of reading We Hunt the Flame when I bought this, so it kind of is a little inspired by that. but I picked up The Candle and the Flame by Nafisa Izzat. This is another, I believe, ancient Arabian inspired fantasy. It has jinns and ifrit and a bunch of different magic, and it's tells the story of Fatima, who lives in the city of Noor, which is like bustling merchant city on the Silk Road, which really intrigued me because I did a lot of ancient Asian history classes during my degree, and we talked about the Silk Road all the time, so that was like a nice little pull to get me to read it. And it deals with a lot of magic, which I've been really into magic lately. I love magic so much in books, and I've been dying to get back into it. And again, it just looked really good. I'm really excited. I've heard nothing but good things about it. Most of these books will have that same, I'll have the same thing to say about it. And again, I don't know a whole lot about this, but I am very excited to read it this month. Next up, I picked up Stardust by Neil Gaiman. This is again much smaller and a older read, but I am participating in the Book Junkie book trials this month, hosted by Rachel Marie Book Junkie, and this is the Bookie Grail. This is the group book, and it's the book that I have to read last, or at least fourth, I guess, fourth or fifth on my readathon. It tells the story of Tristan Thorn, who promises to bring back a falling star for his beloved, and ends up crossing into a world of lords and witches who are all after the same star as him, and he has to fight through magic and go through this huge journey to try and find this falling star. It reminds me a lot of like a bunch of like Middle Ages stories and like typical or traditional romance adventure stories, and I'm very excited to read it. Again, Neil Gaiman is an author that I've been wanting to read for a long time, so I'm excited to get as much of him as I can in the next month. Next up, I picked up Now I Rise by Kirsten White. This is the sequel to And I Darken, which I read back in December. This follows the story of Lada and Radu after the coup, I guess, kind of takeover that Lada had orchestrated failed miserably. Their friend Mehmed is now on the throne. He is Sultan, and he sends Radu away to Constantinople. The only reason why would be because he wants to conquer it. Meanwhile, Lada has gone back to her homeland, trying to get her father's throne for herself back in her homeland. Can't say too much more about this because it would spoil the first book, but I'm very excited to delve back into this world. It is inspired by the ancient Ottoman Empire, which was really fascinating and I think really well done in the first book. I love the characters so much. I love Lada and Radu specifically. They're both adorable and I love their dynamic. It's very dysfunctional, but interesting nonetheless, and I'm excited to dive back into this world. The next book that I picked up is Lethal White by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. These are her mystery crime thriller books that she writes under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith. I've read the first 4 of these books, and I've absolutely adored them. They're all following the same private eye, Cormoran Strike. And I just find these books like so exciting and so full of plot twists and so like mesmerizing to read. I just fly through them. I'm just so desperate to find out what happened. This is the 4th installment, and it tells the story of Cormoran and his assistant Robin as they're trying to solve a cold case, kind of. A man named Billy shows up at Cormoran Strike's office and is trying to explain a crime he thinks he might have witnessed as a child, but before Cormoran can get any real answers out of him, he kind of bolts. And it's left him trying to figure out this crazy tale that I guess takes them into Parliament, into this crazy old manor house, like in the middle of the countryside, and it's got a lot of mystery and twists and turns, and I am very excited to dive back in. The next book that I picked up was The 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin. This one I don't know a whole lot about. I just know it's an epic high fantasy that has won many awards. It says here that it was the winner of 3 consecutive Hugo Awards for Best Novel, which is insane. Talks about this. The one thing I can gather from it is that there's like a sickness on the land almost called the Stillness, and like elemental earthbound magic, I guess. But I am pumped to read this. I've heard so many people rave about it. I saw it a lot in Reagan's reading vlogs, which always excite me. Me and Reagan have very, very similar reading tastes. Like, love the epic high fantasy, so this is just no surprise that I'm excited to read this. But yeah, this is gonna be good. And then lastly, I finally got my hands on this behemoth of a book, Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I can't believe I haven't owned this yet. I can't believe I haven't read this yet. This is another epic high fantasy novel that takes place in a few different areas. It's got dragons, it's got female-female romance, which is so exciting. And I've heard it's just an absolute masterpiece. I can't wait to dive in. I'm bringing this to the cottage. It's gonna be like my insane cottage read of the year. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to dive into this. I'm gonna love it so much. I already know I'm gonna love it so much. But yeah, I finally have it and I'm really excited about it. Anyway, that was my summer book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you've read any of these books, let me know down in the comments below and tell me your thoughts because I'm really excited to read them. I'm hopefully going to be reading almost all of them this month during the book junkie trials because I'm going to try and do all the challenges because I'm insane. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up because it does really support my channel and helps to grow this little community. And if you are new here, please subscribe. I put out new bookish videos every Monday and Friday. And I hope you guys have a lovely day. Bye-bye.